Want to know if your English skills are improving and what your real learning level is? Get your language skills assessed with our free level assessment test. Just click the link in the description and sign up for a free lifetime account to get assessed. Hi everybody, welcome back to Ask Alisha, the weekly series where you ask me questions and I answer them. Maybe. Let's get to your first question this week. First question this week comes from Gerardo Vega. Hi Gerardo. Gerardo says, hi Alisha, I'd like to know the difference between stare and look at. Thank you so much. Okay, yeah, nice question. So let's break down the differences between stare and look. Let's begin by reviewing the meaning of the verb to look. So to look means to focus your eyes on something, to direct your eyes onto something. So for example, we could say, look at the camera, or look over there, or look at this picture, right? It means move your eyes and use them to focus your attention or direct your eyes in this direction or that direction. So to look is like the most basic way that we can talk about seeing something, right? It's about directing the eyes in some way. On the other hand, to stare means to direct your eyes on something and not move. So when we stare at something, we look at it for a very long time and with very strong focus. We use the word to stare when we're talking about looking at other people a lot. And this is often used to talk about uncomfortable situations. So here's an example sentence. The staff stared at me while I ate my food in the restaurant. So in this example sentence, the staff in the restaurant just watched me without doing anything else while I ate my food in the restaurant. It's an uncomfortable situation, right? So when we stare at another person, it means we look at them, only at them, for like a long time without stopping. And when we say stare, it often has this feeling of like uncomfortable levels of focus, or like the person is maybe doing something strange, like the person that is being watched is doing something strange. You might feel like you're doing something strange, or it feels a little bit creepy somehow. So when we stare at another person, we are watching them without looking at anything else, like the focus is just on them. So we tend to use this verb a lot when we're talking about other people, like he stared at her from across the room or something like that, or she stared at the man as he was walking down the street. So when we stare, it's often like, looking at someone very intently for a long period of time. On the other hand, look just means to use your eyes to move around, kind of. So if I said, for example, the staff looked at me when I received my order, it sounds totally normal, right? Like you look at the person when you give them something, right? In that sentence, it sounds totally normal, like a normal situation. If I said the staff stared at me as I took my order and went to my seat, it sounds like it's a little bit uncomfortable. So this is the difference between to look and to stare. So I hope this helps you understand the differences between these two verbs. Thanks very much for the question. Okay, let's move on to your next question. Next question comes from Tula. Hi, Tula. Tula says, what's the meaning of he has big shoes to fill? Nice question. So we can use the expression he has big shoes to fill, or she has big shoes to fill, or you have big shoes to fill, usually in like work situations or perhaps in school situations. So this is an expression that we use when one person is replacing another person. So let's use an example situation. Let's say person A has been working at a company for 10 years and they did a great job, but they've decided to change jobs, okay? So the company has hired person B, a new person. Person A was so good at their job, many people really liked them, and person B is going to take over that person's job, their responsibilities. So the co-workers at the company, or maybe the team members there, might say to person B, person B, you have big shoes to fill. This is saying you have a lot of responsibility now, and it's like saying the person that came before you was a really great person, or they were really great at their job, and they did such a good job that it's going to be very, very hard for someone to replace them. The kind of thinking that might help you to remember this expression expression is to remember that, like, if someone has a big shoe, they have a big foot that goes inside it, right? If you have a big role or a big responsibility, it takes a big person to do all of those kinds of things, right? To take care of all those things, like to manage a team and so on. So you can kind of imagine the role or the responsibility, like the person's job in this situation, as being like the big kind of shoe. And the person that is in that shoe or in that job has to be a big enough person to take care of all of those things. So that might be helpful for some of you to kind of remember that this is like a role and a person that needs to fill that role, to do all the things in the role. So when we say, wow, you have big shoes to fill, it means the person who came before you was really, really great, or lots of people loved that person. They did a great job, and now it's up to you to try to get to the same level as that person. So this is a very positive expression. We use it to mean person A was great and we really liked them. We hope that you can do the same thing, but it's going to be a challenge. So some people might feel a little bit worried. If you're person B, you might feel a little bit worried, like, oh gosh, that person A, everybody loved person A. I don't know if I can do this. But they might be a very supportive team. It might be a good situation. So it kind of depends on the situation a little bit. Generally, if you are person A and someone says that about you, that means that people really appreciate you. If you're person B and someone says that, it means they have really high hopes, like expectations, and the other person was really great. So this is what the expression big shoes to fill means. I hope that that answers your question. Thanks very much for sending it along. Okay, let's move on to your next question. Next question comes from Paulo Navais. Hi, Paulo. Paulo asks, could you tell me the difference between we told him to wake up by 6 a.m. and we told him to wake up at 6 a.m.? Thanks. Okay, so the difference here, the key difference here is by 6 a.m. and at 6 a.m. What is the difference? Let's start with at 6 a.m. So we told him to wake up at 6 a.m. means at exactly 6 o'clock. At exactly 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 a.m., this person's alarm will go off and the person will wake up. That is at 6 a.m. However, if we say by 6 a.m., it means 6 a.m. and any time before 6 a.m. So 5 a.m. is okay, 4 a.m. is okay, 5:30, 5:45. Any time before 6 a.m. is also okay, no later than 6. So this is the difference between by and at when we're talking about time. So we could say, in other situations too, please call me back by 5 p.m. means any time before 5 is okay. Please call me back at 5 p.m. means exactly 5 p.m. Please call me. So do not call me at 4 or 4:30 or 3. Call me at exactly 5. So this is the difference between at and by. It's a really good one to keep in mind. So I hope that that helps, and I hope that that answers your question. Thanks so much for sending it along. All right, that is everything that I have for this week. Thank you, as always, for sending your great questions. Remember, you can send them to me at englishclass101.com/ask-Alisha. That is a very long URL, so please find the link in the YouTube description and send me your questions on the official question submission page. I'm always on the lookout for questions from you. So if you enjoyed this lesson, of course, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Also, check us out at englishclass101.com for some other things that can help you with your English studies. Thanks very much for watching this week's episode of Ask Alisha, and I will see you again next time. Bye!